Hey everybody, welcome back to the Slypatch Podcast. I'm Digital Chimera, you can call me Spencer.
And I'm the Captain, you can call me Tyler.
And it's time to ready up. I got them double now.
You did double. I'm leaning on this arm, so I can't I'll be like, I'm tired.
It's time to ready up.
I was going to fall over in your lap and yeah. But that's a streak though. That's a streak.
It's a streak.
We have 3 straight ready ups where I was in sync, so.
Oh yeah, baby. And today is
bets in the comments on how long that'll last.
Good times. It is a wonderful day because today we are talking about meat and potatoes.
I'm talking about the food, baby.
We are talking. Today's meat and potatoes are about meat and potatoes, and we're going to be very honest with you here. This is not our first time attempting to record this episode.
No, we got about 15 minutes in.
And then the video was cut.
Yeah, we got through our warm-up and everything. We were almost ready to go into the campaign, and video cut out. We had to completely cut it, redo it. So this is take 2. This is the first time it's happened.
It's first time.
First time for the podcast, but it's first time for all kinds of things. But
yeah,
so we're going into today's, again, like Spencer said, today's meat and potatoes about meat and potatoes. What's awesome about meat and potatoes, and we won't say it as eloquently or as awesome as we did before, but like meat and potatoes, most people, like you said, think about like a rump roast and mashed potatoes, or a steak and baked potato.
Yeah, a steak and like like those like charred like potatoes that you put in the oven for a little bit, and like, they go to all like golden crispy and stuff.
You're talking about au gratin.
That is another kind of potato that you can do. That is not what I was talking about. I know there's a word for the kind of potato I'm trying to refer to, but like, I don't know what it was. Either way, though, meat and potatoes comes in all kinds of forms, just like our campaign, the thing we like to call the meat and potatoes.
The burgers and fries, the hash browns, and,
fish and chips.
Like fries say, fish and chips. Like, there's all kinds of meat and potatoes. So, like, we like the variety. Just like we try to give you guys variety.
Slim Jims and
Potato chips. Slim Jims and Lay's.
Yep.
That's a meat and potato right there.
All kinds of things you can do with the meat and potatoes, which is what we like to do here. But first, before we get into talking about all things food in this world,
we're going to warm up.
We are going to talk about the warm-up.
Which you have to do with your food sometimes.
Sometimes, a lot of food does have to be warmed up. So it's a pretty good way to start the show.
Not a popsicle. You don't want to warm up a popsicle.
You don't want to drink your popsicle?
Maybe. If it's the ones in the plastic, the long plastic thing where, dude, I love doing that, like crushing them up and then letting them melt and then you
that is drink it. Childhood at its finest, right? Like, if you weren't at a pool and attempting to eat and get plastic cuts.
What are they called? They're called like ice pops or something like that, right?
I have no idea.
Like, in the comments, let us know. But you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the good times. Yeah. All this nostalgia there.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we're talking about all the positive things going on in our lives with the warm up. And I'd like to start with letting you guys know that as of recording this podcast, tomorrow I'm back to school, baby. And it's really great because in the past I would have not wanted to go. I'd be like, oh, I gotta go to school again, but I'm enjoying school this time, and I'm so excited to go back tomorrow. I had a wonderful, nice week off with spring break, but I'm just happy to be back tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome.
And what's really cool is this podcast is actually being recorded the day that our Star Wars podcast released, the day after we actually recorded the Star Wars podcast. So today's actually Monday. We don't have a set specific day that we record anymore, solely because we have busy lifestyles, and with me running the store, him having a different variation on your schedule at work, plus going to college. It's like we just got to record when we have a chance to. So he's like, I'm going back to school tomorrow. It's like, well, weren't you just talking about in the last episode being on spring break? It's like, yeah, he was on spring break up until that day or today.
Yep. Today was my last day of the break.
Yeah, so it was really awesome that I'm glad that you're excited for it, and that's the thing is being excited for stuff like that is great. So I'm glad that you're having so much fun with that and enjoying it. So my warm up, as you guys know, I'm a store owner. being a store owner, even though I've played Magic for 27 years, and I love playing Magic, I don't get to play that often anymore. The very few chances that I actually get, and the chances that I get, I definitely try to take. Tonight, because we're closed on Mondays at the store, my employee Josiah and one of my really good friends, or our really good friends, his name is Nate. If you've never met Nate, I wish you could. Wonderful human being. He's amazing. He came down. Josiah came to the shop. A lot of times Andy will be there with us, but he couldn't make it tonight because he had some other stuff going on today. But we sat down at the store. We played some games. Josiah did his normal thing, which is, I'm not the threat. Don't worry about me. Tyler's the better player. Tyler's the threat. Make sure, So Nate, of course, is using his removal spells on my stuff, totally leaving Josiah alone. A couple turns later, Josiah's like, I'll activate Etherflux Reservoir because I'm at 73 life. I'll shoot you for 50, and then I'll activate this shrine and it triggers twice because I have Sanctum of All out, and I'll do 47 damage to you. It's just like, Nate, I tried to tell you. But, and then the next game, Nate played like the band commander that has auras and equipments or whatever come in and attach to it, whatever, and literally just destroyed us because none of us had flying. And the first aura that he gets out is Angelic Destiny, which is, +4/+4 flying. Now it's an angel and stuff. And we're just like, I can't deal with this. But I loved it because I got to go back to playing casual Magic. So I think I told you guys in another episode earlier where I made a casual deck and and stuff, and I hadn't had much time to play it. I have gotten to play it like a couple times against Spence here at the house. We've played it a few games.
It seems like a really fun deck.
Oh, it is. It's a super fun deck. It's just it's not super competitive. So, like my problem tonight is like I literally I run 3 Wraths in the deck in a creature based deck, right? But you still want some Wraths just in case you get behind. Run 3, drew 2 of them. When both of them were like, we need a board wipe to deal with Tyler's stuff, right? And then it's like, I got one right here, but I don't want to use it. So yeah, like there was stuff like that, and it happens. But yeah, I mean, it's been super fun. Us playing, here at my house in my basement, and then getting the chance to play with Josiah and Nate tonight was really good. So, and that really helps with something that we spoke on prior, which is the mental health stuff, right? We've had such good feedback and so much positive and just people reaching out and just things like that from our mental health episode that we did, that I just kind of wanted to address it again right now. Keep reaching out, people. You can comment on the thing. You can reach out to us, personally. But I love it, and we may end up doing like an auxiliary type thing, like a side type thing with the Slypatch, where we still want the main episode that we do every week to be a variety thing and be things that are nerdy and things like that, and for us to talk about. But with the feedback that we've had, we want to reach out. We want people to know that we're there. We want people to go comment. Like maybe you are afraid to go to someone, or maybe you don't have the resources. Whatever, make a comment on a YouTube video. Let us know that it's something you need to talk about. And while we're not, professionals in the sense that that's not what we do for a living. It takes a village. Sometimes, to make the village, better, and we want to help you. And, you're also able and willing to or you're able to reach out to myself and Spencer, and we'll be there for you in the capacity of however you need it. If it's a personal conversation that you just want to have with one of us, if you want us both to be in that conversation, there's ways to make group conversations and stuff like that, and we can all talk about it together.
Or, if you swing by on a Friday night and you just not feeling good, don't mind, going out with Tyler while he smokes and talking about it, or pulling me out for a few minutes in between one of my games, and, Yeah, just anything to get the conversation started, about getting you towards a positive thing. But something just as simple as being able to sit down, play Magic, have those conversations with my friends while it's going has helped me tremendously in the past couple of weeks. So. Mm-hmm. I just want to let you guys know that. So that's our warm up. That is our warm up.
We got the pan ready.
Yeah.
Time to cook those meat and potatoes, baby.
It's ready. The meat and potatoes are here.
So, let's get into that campaign. Why don't you start us off, Spence? Talk to us about food for you.
Man, I've self-identified as a foodie ever since I heard the word, right? I mean, I'm a big guy. I like to eat. Something I'm not entirely proud of, but, you know, sits on the fact that I am a foodie. When I was really young, like talking elementary age, I didn't have a sense of fullness. And so I would eat because I was really, really, like, I just really liked it. And I would eat till I threw up a lot of times.
Yeah, because all you cared about was that taste going across your tongue.
Oh, it was so good. And, like, maybe that would be considered an eating disorder, but, like, you know, I grew out of it eventually. And it wasn't, like, out of stress. It was just like, man, this tastes so good, and I just want more.
Well, that speaks to, like, you know, going into the mental health that we've talked about, like, that, you know, it's giving you the endorphins.
It's just
like
so
chocolate,
good.
like, you know,
like,
like that. So
eat half of a Rocky Rococo's pizza by myself. There were times where I did that. I remember there was one time when I was in baseball when I was like 7. Me and my dad went out to get Culver's before one of my games, and I'm like, you know, I love those butter burgers and stuff. And I had it. We played the game, and then immediately after, a family friend of ours, who I played with both of his kids, Alex and Ben, but he was driving me home that night, and they wanted to go to Rocky Rococo, so they took me, and I'm like, I ate dinner before this, but, like, we're going to Rocky's, so I'm going to eat.
Yeah, man.
And then I ate, like, 3 slices of pizza, went home, and puked it all up.
The only time
but it was so worth it, because it was Rocky's.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have a kind of a similar... Like, the only time I can think of where I ate to the point where I puked was, just like... And again, I live right next to the State Fair Park here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So... I've actually never been to the Wisconsin State Fair, even though I live this close. But we used to have state fairs back in Tennessee and stuff, right? So I'm at one of the fairs. Actually, I think it was a county fair that I went to back then. And there were like 7 different places that had funnel cake.
I love me some funnel cake.
And so I literally went to, like, my parents gave me X amount of dollars to play some of the carnival games with, you know, do different stuff,
no,
right? Get some
going.
food, right? I went to every single one of the places that had funnel cake because I wanted to. I was like 11 or 12 at the time, right? And I was like, I want to taste all of them and see who's the best.
You should have gotten a table and done a public review of every funnel cake at the county fair.
This is way before the social media thing and stuff, you know, when social media is like it is, right? This is just, again, I was 11 or 12, so that was in the 90s. Like, it was like 96, 97, or something like that, right? 95, 96, whatever. So anyway, I get to, like, the 5th place, and I'm feeling it. Like, I can feel it, but I'm determined.
I love this.
I'm just determined. I get the 5th one down. I go to the 6th place, and I'm just like, I literally asked the guy. I was like, "Do you have a small version of a funnel cake?" And they were like, "We just got one size, kid." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll take a funnel cake." You know, like,
Did you not think to, like, only
just
eat part of it?
No, I didn't. Of course not. No. Well, I grew up.
You didn't want to waste it.
I grew up poor. So, like,
you wanted to eat all of it.
We had a rule, like, so we had a rule in my house. One of the rules, like, when when we cook food and have dinner, is take all that you want, but eat what you get. Like, that was literally the rule.
Yeah.
If I went and got seconds or thirds or whatever, you know, if there was enough food to do that, right? Which, like, for example, that's why I can't eat beef stroganoff anymore, because beef stroganoff hamburger helper was like a go-to for my parents, you know, because it was so cheap and easy to make.
Of course.
So I can't eat it anymore because I just had so much of it when I was a kid. But anyway, that was the rule. So if you got it, you had to eat it. You know, that was just ingrained in my head. So I get through the 6th one, And dude, I can tell. Like, I've got no room left, but I'm like, there's only one left. I got it. I got to do this, right? So I go to the 7th place. I get the funnel cake.
God.
I get about 3 bites into this thing. When I say bites, I'm like, when I first, the first one, when I'm taking a bite, it's like, just like, a quarter of the freaking funnel cake just shoved in my mouth, right? No, this bite was, and if you guys don't know what a funnel cake looks like, it's literally just fried dough, and it has powdered sugar on top.
Yeah,
right?
it's deep fried dough, usually with powdered sugar on top.
Right.
And, sometimes
and it looks kind of stringy. But it looks kind of stringy, and like it's not. There's no real shape to it, right?
Yeah, because they take the liquid dough and they just pour it out of a thing into a deep fryer.
Yeah, and it just cooks that way, right? So literally, the bites that I'm taking on this are like breaking off a rounded off piece or something,
breaking off a small string.
I'm talking about like just big enough, just to taste it. Basically, I'm just like, dude. There's an old movie
small enough for a baby to eat it.
There's an old movie back in the 90s. It was I want to say it was called Matilda or something like that. But it was about this little girl that was a witch, right? But there's a scene in the movie. Because they're in an orphanage or something like that, and the one of the ladies that's in charge is this big gym teacher female lady, right? And one of the kids stole her chocolate cake.
Okay, this was Matilda, and
It was Matilda, right?
Yeah, she got powers because she was so fucking smart.
Exactly. So then in Matilda, the kid steals the chocolate cake.
Yeah,
right?
from the principal.
Is that what she was? The principal? I can't remember. It's been so long since I watched it.
Oh, I love that movie.
But I do remember that she sits him down and makes him eat this whole chocolate cake, right? And so I'm looking in the 7th one, I'm literally like that kid, where I'm just I'm halfway through, and I'm just just trying to force it down, and I took 3 or 4 bites of this fucking funnel cake and just everything, just right there at the fair. I'm sitting at a little picnic table type thing, and I'm just it's gone, But the funny part about it was, once I threw up, I was hungry again because, everything was gone. So I finished the 7th funnel cake. Because
that's horrible.
I was like, hey, well, it's all gone now. I got room. And, the whole, as an adult, you're, been on a binge or drinking. It's puke and rally,
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I threw everything up and then ate the rest of the funnel cake. I don't remember
which one was best.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I don't remember who they were, who the companies were, anything like that. But literally, looking back on it, and I know that my memory is skewed, or at least my opinion was probably skewed, based on being full and stuff like that. But from a flavor standpoint, whoever the second one was, because I remember eating the first one. The first one was this is okay. And I remember eating the second one and just being oh, I have to try everybody's now because this one is so good. And it just keeps getting better. It'll be awesome. And then I ate the third one, and it was well, it's not quite as good, but it wasn't as bad as the first one. That was the whole mindset going on.
So I have to ask about this story. Did you go to the fair expecting to do this?
No.
Or did you go get a funnel cake and you're that was pretty good, I kind of want another, but I'll go to this other place?
Sort of like that, yeah. So
okay.
It was kind of in between, right? We get there, and my parents gave me money, right? And again, I grew up poor, so I'm not used to having the money, to do these things, right? Mm-hmm. And I still had money even after going to the 7 places to get the funnel cake. I still had some money because all the funnel cakes, again, this is way back in the 90s, so they were only $1.50, and my parents gave me $20, so I still had money to go play the games, so that's why I was wanting to do this, right? I was I want to try
every funnel cake.
Well, because people talk about fair food all the time, right? And I'm but we'd already eaten dinner before we went out, so I didn't want a corn dog. I kind of considered corn dogs at one point, but I was nah, I don't want corn dog. I want funnel cakes, right?
And then you went and ate 7 of them.
Then I went and ate 7 funnel cakes and and lost it. So.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a much funnier story than my stories of overeating to the point of sickness. But yeah, I did that a lot when I was a kid. I have no funny stories around it. They're all just kind of sad, to be honest. But
for those who are still here, real quick, before we get way too deep into the episode, if you're sitting here wondering, okay, well, this is supposed to be a nerd podcast or, about whatever, why are they talking about food? We're going to get into that. We're going to bring up those types of things. But again, just like we talked about before, where even like fantasy sports, different things, like if you nerd out, if you geek out about something, man, like it doesn't matter what it is,
you can be a nerd for anything.
You can be a nerd for anything. So that's why we're talking about food today, because food is something that we all have to consume. We all have to, do stuff with, and some of us enjoy it, some of us don't. For
some people it's passion.
So for some people it's passion. And again, you brought this up. For those who have eating disorders, we apologize. We're not trying to offend you in any way.
Oh yeah,
that's not, and we sympathize and even empathize with that, so please, at this point, cut it off, get out of here.
Yeah.
Watch a different episode, because we're not trying to offend or mess with anybody that has that going on. So I want to bring that up. But yeah, there's a nerdy part of food, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, one of the things I'm going to bring up and talk about is I love cooking shows.
Okay. Yeah.
I love cooking shows, and I'm talking about cooking, baking, all kinds of stuff. One of the things that me and my wife watch together is a Great British Baking Show. If you've never seen it, it's awesome. One of the guys that's on there, I cannot remember. I know it starts with an N. I just can't remember if it's like Neville, Neil, whatever. I can't remember his name. But he used to be a part of the group. Do you remember Old Greg?
No.
You ever drank Bailey's from a shoe? You know who Old Greg is? Okay. So there was this whole comedic thing that's British, and he was Old Greg, and I can't remember. He was in other skits and did stuff too. But anyway, he's one of the judges on Great British Baking Show. So I love watching it to see his reactions, because his are always like snarky or just like being an ass, whatever. I love that. Love watching Chopped. Okay, so Chopped, if you guys don't know what that show is a show where there's 4 chefs, they get a mystery basket, and there's like 3 different rounds. So there's like the appetizer round, the main course round, and then dessert round. And in the first round, there's 4 people, and then eliminate somebody, and then there's 3 people, and then 2, it gets down to the final 2 for the dessert round. But they put these weird ass shits in there, right? So it'll be like fucking goat brain and Cheerios and like maraschino cherries and something else, right? And you're just like, what the am I gonna do with this? But it's really cool. It's awesome to see how these people, because they also get a kitchen of other ingredients, obviously, to put into it, right? And
but if I remember correctly, they have to use everything in the basket.
Yes, they have to use everything in the basket, incorporate it somehow, and the more you incorporate those things to a degree, like also will help with how the judges judge what you do. And dude, it's just so cool to see these creations that people make, where it's like, how did you take like leftover macaroni and cheese, and turn it into like a pizza, but they used the mac and cheese, they broke it down to turn it into the crust or something. Like, it's just weird, crazy stuff like that. Like, I love to cook, personally. My specialty is I love to make sauces, okay? And being from the South, barbecue sauces are like my number one thing, okay? Love to make sauces, love to make them from scratch. Like, I'm not talking about like, I'm going to take some Sweet Baby Ray's and doctor it up. No, I'm talking about, give me some tomato paste, molasses, all this. I'm going to make it from scratch. It's going to take 6 hours to sit here and simmer and, like, make a sauce out of, right? Like, that's what I love to do. I am not on the level of those people that I watch. I want to be. I'd love to be someday.
Yeah, right.
But I'm, like, I watch those people, and I'm just like... But then at the same time, just like anybody who watches, like, TV shows, I criticize sometimes, like, what? Why are you doing that? Like, that doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, I say that, and I'm like, I don't really have room to talk. Whatever.
It's true.
But then you got Chopped. You've got, and then, like, one of the, from a nerdy standpoint here, guys, like, literally, if you've never seen this show, you got to watch it. It's called Nailed It. Have you ever heard of it?
I know I've heard the name, but...
So it's a baking show that's on Netflix, and they have one of the judges is like this like Michelin star, top tier, like, bakery chef, dude. He's French and everything, and he's awesome. And then you have Nicole, who's like the main host, and then they always have like a special guest on. But they'll make when I'm talking about baking, like, you ever seen those things? And this is also another show that just came on earlier, later, that me and her get into. It's called Is It Cake? Which is like, you ever seen those cakes that's like, you can't tell it's a fucking cake?
Yes.
Until they cut into it, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing about, like, Nailed It is that's what they do. They make these things that, like, you can tell it's a cake just, because they make it, whatever, but it's like, it's so intricate, right? But then the one that just came out recently, that me and Chrissy got into, which is It Cake? I mean, dude, they had a bowling ball and a cake bowling ball sitting next to each other. And I'm telling you right now, from watching that show, I'd have been like, I don't know which one's which. Like, you could not tell. It was that dope. And what the dude does is, he makes you guess, and then he takes a knife, and he tries to cut into it. Like, if he cuts into it, it's a cake. If it's not, it's not, and like, that's how it goes. But Nailed It, the reason I love that show is because they take non-professional bakers, like home people that send in, like, videos to try to get on there, right? And the reason why it's called Nailed It is because when you see their shit, it's so bad compared to it, but when they, like, drop the screen to show it, they're like, nailed it! They say that, because that's their catchphrase. And I'm talking about, like, you'll have, like, this, okay, I'll give you an example. You have this, like, beautiful, like, ocean cake with a mermaid on it, right? And all this, and it's like, the ocean has, like, different fading, like, colors and all this, beautiful mermaid carved out of, like, molding chocolate and all this, right? And there's, like, the mermaid will look like a stick person from some fucked up universe. Like, it's like, look, like, the beautiful mermaid's like, and then mermaid's like, like, it's bad, dude. It's so bad.
Oh, that's so funny.
So it's so great to watch because I'm just like, yep, that would be me if I tried that. Like, if I ever got on that show, my shit would look just like yours, bro. And so it's a really cool, like, relatable thing, too. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's just, my thing. With me and Chrissy, we share that a lot.
I don't watch a lot of cooking shows these days, but I did a lot when I was younger because... So my mom, she is one of the, like, as far as it comes to, like, not at a professional level, she is the best cook I know.
Okay.
Because, like, I have friends who are like...
I might have to challenge for that at some point.
Okay. But I have friends who are, like, professional chefs. I got a buddy, his name's Bailey. He works at Doc's Smokehouse downtown.
Speaking of that...
And he used to work at Tofty's, who we're going to talk about Tofty's later.
But speaking of, professional chefs, we actually have one that comes to the store. So, Kevin Yim.
Oh, yeah, I know Kevin. I used to... Yeah. I don't think I've seen him at Slypatch yet, but I used to play at...
He's come out to buy some cards and stuff. He because of his work schedule, he hasn't been able to come out and play.
Gotcha.
But Kevin's someone who's in our community, who is very passionate. He's a wonderful chef, or he's working towards being a chef. I'm sorry, Kevin, I don't know exactly what your position is in the kitchen, but he works in a professional kitchen.
Yeah, he does.
Where they have, like, a chef, a sous chef, this person, like, all this, and I'm not exactly sure what Kevin's exact position is, but I know that he aspires to be a chef, and he even aspires, which we're going to miss you when it happens, but he aspires to move to, like, a bigger city like New York or LA, and be, like, somewhere like that. He wants to be, like, one of those Michelin chefs and stuff that people use as judges, and I'm proud of you, buddy. I support you. We hope that you do well.
I used to play with him at BGB, the one on 60th and Layton back in the day, but and so, like, but as far as, like, not at a professional level, my mom cooks the best fucking food ever, and when I was younger, she sold Mary Kay for a living, so she was working out of our house, and when I would get home from school, she'd always be watching stuff like Oprah or, like, stuff like that.
So totally unrelated, but I have a question.
Dr. Phil.
I have a question. I've never understood. What stuff does Mary Kay sell?
Mostly, like, makeup and
stuff.
Product, like beauty stuff for women.
Okay, because I grew up in a different area than you, and there was there were like back in my parents' day, there was like Tupperware parties and stuff. So
Yeah.
I didn't know what
was
Mary Kay was exactly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. The Tupperware party is very similar in how it works to what Mary Kay does, but Mary Kay focuses in like
because and then going beyond that, when I got into adulthood, there was like Pure Romance, which is more adult oriented stuff. But okay, so Mary Kay was more in the middle.
Yeah.
Makeup, yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, when I was starting to get to an age where I've loved food forever, like I said, and I actually really liked cooking when I started to get old enough to actually cook my own food. My aunt was teaching me how to cut vegetables when I was 4, and my mom was always teaching me stuff in the kitchen, and
Spencer still has all his fingers, so
I do still have
Auntie, you did well.
All my fingers.
Yeah.
But there were times when I would come home from school and Mom was sitting in there watching Oprah or Dr. Phil or something, and there came a time though when I was young where we switched. When I got home from school specifically, she would stop watching stuff like that and we'd go watch food shows, like cooking shows and stuff. And I don't really, because it was a long time ago for me, I don't really remember a lot of it. But man, that was some of the funnest. I remember the emotion that was in it for me, and having that time with my mom, and it was, that was always really, really fun for me. And to this day, I still love cooking. The only part about cooking, and this kind of plays into sort of how I deal with my mental health stuff. I don't like the mess, and I don't like cleaning up, so I don't do it as often as I'd like.
I'm telling you, that dude. If you can, so anybody out there, if you can find a partner or a friend or a roommate, whoever, that doesn't mind doing dishes but also likes to eat, that's the perfect combination.
Yeah, and for a while, that's what me and my dad did. I would cook food for the both of us, and he would clean up for the both of us, and then we would eat together. And so that works out really well, and I do that on occasion, but it's
so to get my one time of things in. That's what I loved about having Nick Robinson as a roommate. Yeah. So I had to get this in, but that's why I loved when Nick lived with me and my ex-wife. That's what I loved about him, was he didn't like to cook. He's not a cooker, he'll cook. It's funny because there's so many mornings where I talk to him and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" "I'm cooking me a steak." Even when I went down to help him move a couple weeks ago, and his mom was there, and we were packing up the dishes, she's like, "Nick, you need to throw this pan out." He's like, "That's my steak pan. I can't throw it out." And literally all the Teflon's gone off of it. It used to be a Teflon pan. All this, he's like, "That's my steak pan. I'm not throwing it out." I'm like, "Bro, do you skip putting the pepper on your steak because it looks like it's peppered when it comes off this thing?" But anyway, what I loved about Nick was when he lived with
awful.
Yeah, but what I loved about Nick when he lived with me and my ex-wife was that me and my ex-wife both loved to cook, but we hated both of us hated doing dishes. Same thing with me and Chrissy. Both of us hate doing dishes, which sucks, but she also doesn't cook. So I'm like, wait, anyway. But me or my ex-wife would cook a meal, and then Nick would do the dishes, and it was awesome, because it was a good trade-off. I was like, hey, we'll cook the food, you get to eat it, and then your thing for eating it is washing the dishes, But that's usually how it is in a partnership too, right? It's I'll cook the food, we both get to eat it, you get to clean up the dishes because I cook the food, right? So again, if you can find somebody out there that doesn't mind doing dishes,
or if you're the one who likes doing dishes, find someone who likes to cook.
Find someone who likes to cook, yeah. And you will get meals. You will get meals, good meals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is the perfect combination, like you said. And but yeah, as far as cooking shows go, I haven't watched cooking shows in a long time, but food in general, there's a pretty big industry for it on television. And
there is an entire channel called the Food Network.
Yeah.
You got the Food Network. You got your things that are on mainstream daytime, like Rachel Ray.
Mm-hmm. I used to love Rachel Ray when I was.
You got Rachel Ray. Paula Dean has a show. Mm-hmm. Martha Stewart, who does crafting and things too, but she also does the cooking thing. And then if you go, I cannot remember.
She also does insider trading.
That's true. It's funny because she does a show with Snoop Dogg, right?
Yeah.
And there's a meme that's like a picture of one of these people's a felon.
One of these people's a convicted felon. And,
and one's a hardcore rapper. And it's like, what? But what was Julia? What was her name?
Julia Child.
Julia Child. Julia Child started that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So way back in the day, Julia
Child's like the Bob Ross of cooking.
She is. The Mr. Rogers of like PBS shows, like that, all that stuff, right? Julia Child was like the shit back in the day from a cooking show standpoint, because she was the one everybody go on. She'd have a new recipe every day, different things like that. And then you go into that, you talk more about like there are TikTokers, podcasters, all this stuff that's all about food as well. One of the things I love to watch. So if Julia Gulia and shit, my mind just went blank. So I feel really bad. Her husband, Asian dude that I love you. I can't remember, but their podcast thing is called Healthy Junk Food, but it's spelled HELLTHY. I'm gonna look your name up because I feel so bad right now. But their like little podcast thing, stuff like that they do, I watch it. I like literally watch. Sorry, my mind's just going blank because I'm under the gun right now. JP. That's his name. I knew both of them was J's. Anyway, JP and Julia. Sorry, JP, I love you, but I love watching Healthy Junk Food because they do a bunch of different stuff. They'll cook different things, stuff like that. They're really big into making big things. So like a big version of a chicken nugget or the giant version of the English breakfast and just different things like that. But then also like JP, poor JP, he can't handle spicy food. So that's actually some of my favorite ones to watch is when he eats spicy food. Because bro starts sweating. When I'm talking about sweating, I'm talking about just like, you can see it. It's like just pouring off his face. Love it. Love watching that, JP. Thank you for suffering for our entertainment. But that's how big the food industry is that people like that, like JP and Julia, were able to buy their house and do it. Which they've also been doing this for like 10 years now. So it's not like they're just like a flash in the pan, but they were able to buy their house and upgrade their studio and do all these different things off of just doing things with food.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is really amazing. I love it. And again, hey, if you ever want Slypatch Podcast on there, well, JP's probably like, fuck that guy. But if you ever do, I'll also, be safe for work and not cuss. But anyway, so like that's things that I love aside from just your mainstream stuff of your food shows, like I talked about with Chopped and what was the other one I brought up? Nailed It, and then there's like the one with Gordon Ramsay where he's like
there's so many, like Iron Chef, Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, all those things.
I love Gordon Ramsay. I've got to say, like the thing that I like about Gordon Ramsay is that like he definitely over dramatizes it for some of his TV shows, but like when you see him on his like TikTok, or he has, I think I don't know if it's a newer show or if it's something else that he, like some other project, when you see him like just being a real person, he's actually like really nice.
Well, first of all,
cool.
First of all, he's an amazing family man and father.
Yeah.
If you ever follow his things. So one of the shows, and this is what I love to compare him to, okay, is you have MasterChef that he's a judge on, and then you have Junior MasterChef. You can see the human being in him in the difference between those two shows. In MasterChef, he's dealing with adults. And yeah, they're amateur chefs, but they're trying to be better and stuff like that, right? He's hard as fuck on them. Junior MasterChef, bro, I've never seen anyone cooler. From a standpoint of like picking those kids up. Yeah. When a kid like starts getting down about, it's like, hey, we're gonna get this. We're okay.
Yeah.
And he'll come over and he'll help. Like
he has so much care for them.
He does.
It's
and
really cool.
and what that shows, if you read into that, if you look into that from a psychological standpoint, like we talk about sometimes on here, is He just cares that much about the food industry. So he's going to give the adults who can handle it and who, need to hear the tough love, he's going to give them that tough love. And then the kids, they're younger, they're more impressionable, they need that different type of love and drive and whatever. And he gives them that. And so, yeah, Gordon is literally in my top 5 celebrities that I would love to meet. Like, I would just love to meet him and have even if it was just a 10-minute conversation. I'd love for him to, like, cook for me. Like, that's the dream. Or to be able to cook with him or, whatever. Like, that would be the dream. But even if I just got to meet him at, like, a con for, like, 10 minutes, whatever, and just have a 10-minute conversation with him, I would like to talk to him. And actually, if you told me, okay, you got 10 minutes with Gordon Ramsay, I probably actually wouldn't even talk about food for more than, like, 30 seconds. Probably at the end, I would talk to him about, like, the human being that he is, honestly.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, just because, like, that's what would interest me the most.
Well, also, if I wanted to listen to Gordon Ramsay talk about food, he's got hours and hours of content on the internet that I can find to do that. I want to talk to him about stuff that I've never heard. I want to find out new stuff. But
Gordon's amazing.
Yeah, I want to move a little bit away from media and food, and I want to talk a little bit about our best experiences with food.
For sure. Well, even before we talk about best experiences with food, let's talk about, you brought this up earlier, and we said we were going to talk about it. Let's talk about a recent thing that we did, which was Tofty's.
Tofty's Table, if you are in the Milwaukee or even just southeastern Wisconsin, or even bigger of an area that...
Or you want to travel there.
Or if you want to travel here.
As long as you're willing to travel to southeast Wisconsin, let's tell you about Tofty's Table that's in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
It is my favorite restaurant that I've ever been to. This was my 5th time being there.
Bro, I will tell you right now, after our experience, like, it's in my top 3. Which I've been in restaurants all across the country, so it's like... For it to be in my top 3... Because, again, I have, like, favorite restaurants from back home. I've got favorite restaurants. I've been all around the country, right? It's in my top 3 after the experience we had. Yeah. For sure.
And it's always been in my top 3, but it's definitely number 1 for me. But I also don't have as much experience as Tyler does. So, use that as, as like a marker. But it's right on the Riverwalk, right across from the Waukesha State Bank. And it's this cozy little spot, and they do this shared plate / small plate kind of thing, which started out here in America, where the table, everyone you're sitting with, you order entrees as a group, and you get to try a little bit of everything that comes to the table. So depending on how many people you have, they might be like, yeah, maybe you're gonna, like, if there's just 2 people, you might order like 4 or 5 different things. For like 4 people, you might be ordering 10 entrees.
Yeah, we had 3 people. We had 3 people. We ordered 6 things.
We ordered more than that.
7. No,
we ordered 10. Maybe 9.
No.
But we also ordered 3 desserts after that.
That's what I'm saying. So the 3 desserts I'm counting as the 10. Like, we ordered like 6 or 7 entrees.
We had octopus, fried chicken, risotto, kielbasa. What else did we have? We had the tuna. We had...
That's what I'm saying. It was only like 5 or 6 things because we realized, like, even after... Because it was only 3 of us. Oh, we had the fries.
We had the 6. Fries. That's 7 there.
Okay, yeah, so we had like 6 or 7. Yeah, like I said, we had 6 or 7, and then we had the 3 desserts. Because there was other things we wanted to order on the menu, but we were like... Once we got, like, let's just do like 5 or 6, 7 or whatever we did. Let's do that first and see how hungry we are. And like, even though it's a small plate design,
because you're having so
many different things. Like, and again, the only critique that I had, and you know this, is I would have put the octopus last.
Yeah, which we did find out afterward
that you can't do that.
We can you know, request them to come out in a specific order.
Yeah, the octopus I would have definitely had last because it had that little citrus salad with it, which was a great palate cleanser before you go into eating the dessert. We ended up having it first, which was, but that made it more of an American experience, right? Because that's one of the things too, is like we're one of the only countries that eats a salad at the beginning of the meal as opposed to the end.
Yeah.
Almost every other country in the world gives you the salad at the end to help cleanse your palate, right? And so, yeah. So I mean, that's the only critique. But yeah, we had so many good foods there, and there's so many things that are still on the menu I want to try.
Yeah.
We didn't get the duck confit tostadas like we wanted to.
The duck confit tostadas are such a great start to that meal.
Yeah.
But yeah, go for anyone who's out there and interested in like, it's not like entirely fine dining. Like it's definitely upscale.
Yeah, but there were people there that were just in jeans and jeans and a jacket and stuff like that. It's not one of those places where you have to go completely dressed up. Like
it's really
fine
business
dining,
casual.
It's fine dining in the sense of how good the food is.
Yeah,
but it's not fine dining in the sense of like how some restaurants are, where like, I'm sorry, sir, you can't come in. You don't have a jacket. Like that kind of thing. Like
it's like you can get by just fine on business.
Oh,
casual.
Speaking of food, now you can see it. I got pineapple shorts on. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, it's a wonderful place. They've got such a good menu, and the menu is somewhat seasonal, so things change as over time.
But
and
I hope they keep that
wonderful.
mushroom risotto on there at all times, though, because. And Max was on with us on the music episode.
He's been there too.
Yeah, Max has been there, and me and Max both agree. We could go back there, and if you told me you can only order one thing off the menu, like Max and I would just be like, mushroom risotto.
Yeah, that wild mushroom risotto is so good.
That wild mushroom risotto is so rich, it's so creamy. It was so good. It was amazing. I mean, but everything there was good. Everything there was good. There wasn't a single thing that we tried or that we had that night that I was like, I don't want to order that again. Like I would literally order the same, menu plus, with other people. And stuff
and the only reason you wouldn't is because you want to try the other stuff that you haven't tried.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's literally the only reason why I wouldn't order those things, because I would want to order the other things to try them.
Yeah.
Tofties, you're awesome.
Yeah.
And when I say top 5, like literally, it's probably top 3. Like honestly, it's in third place for me because I have two restaurants in my heart that I'll just always be. Number 1. Taco Mamacitas. I've told you about this.
Yeah.
It's my place back home. There's one in Chattanooga. There's one in Nashville. It's just they have if I ever take you there, like that's the thing. I've never been there and had something I didn't like. Okay, but they also have like my favorite taco ever, which is the General Homeboy. I literally bought a quart of their sauce that comes on it.
I remember you telling me about this.
I literally bought a quart of their sauce and was going to bring it back home so that I could like try to make different dishes with it. And then my car broke down in Indiana. And it's funny because I say it broke down, like literally it was just the battery died and I didn't know it. And I accidentally left the sauce in the back of the car, and it was like midsummer, and got the car towed the next morning, all this. And it was at the place for like a day because they had a backlog of things that they were trying to do. And then by the time I got back to the car, like it had been sitting in the car for like a day and a half in the like 90-degree sun, and it's mayonnaise, like there's a mayonnaise base to it, and they're just like, bro, it started stinking, so we threw it away. And I was like, I don't blame you, but god damn it. Yeah. Like
poor sauce.
Poor sauce. I rented a hotel room that had a refrigerator in it, so like I could have.
Yeah, you even could have kept it.
I could have kept it, but like, so for those who don't know, just so you know, because we're on a food episode, so it kind of is relevant. When your battery like goes completely bad, like, and when I'm talking about like what happened was one of the cells kind of exploded. It's a sulfur smell. Okay. Which smells like rotten eggs. Like we talk about rotten eggs, or like when people eat a bunch of like deviled eggs and stuff on holidays and they fart, like it smells really bad, right? Because it's sulfur.
Yeah.
So like literally it was like the worst like rotten egg smell that I'd ever had in my life. So I was so just thrown off from that the only thing I could think about was grab my luggage,
grab my shit, and get out of here.
Yeah, just grab my suitcase and stuff like that, because I had the sauce in this little like I had it in like a little, it was like a double wrapped, like grocery bags, like from Pick and Save or Walmart, whatever. And then I had like some like ice packs around it, and it was just sitting in the corner in the back, of the like the trunk area. And I just forgot about it because like I'm just like, oh, I'm so messed up and pissed off about my car being broke down. Like I just grabbed my suitcase because it was the most important thing, and then walked over to this hotel that was like a half mile down the road. So I didn't think about it. But yeah, I could have saved the sauce, but yeah. But anyway, Taco Mamacitas, you always be number one. If you see this video, I'm gonna give you some free food. I won't be sad. I'll mention you on like every
Me
episode.
too.
Yeah,
because I would love to go.
We're going to. When we go down to Chattanooga. Yeah,
I would always love to go down there.
Number two on that list is also down in Chattanooga, which is Hog Heaven. Little hole in the wall, owned by a friend of ours named Rick Buff, friend of the family. It's connected to an Armando's, and it's two restaurants, but he owns both. And the little barbecue restaurant, which literally only has like 2 tables or 3 tables to sit at inside the restaurant, but it has a little drive-through connected to it, stuff like that. But they have barbecue cheese fries.
Ooh.
Okay, so but it's beautiful. So it's crinkle fries, which crinkle fries are the best vessel for this. Okay. And
for barbecue and cheese.
Yeah,
100%.
and then a ton of cheese melted on top, and then you have your shredded barbecue, and then you put your barbecue sauce on it, and it's not this cheap anymore. I don't know, with inflation, I don't know what it is now, but I remember back in the day. Okay, this is probably like 10, 12 years ago. $4 and a penny. $4 and a penny, and you would literally get one of those styrofoam containers that's like, I'm doing it so from a depth standpoint, it's only like this deep, but from like a width and length, it's like this long and like this wide. I'm talking about like a bigger, styrofoam container. $4 and a penny, to the point where like
wow.
I could literally only eat half of the serving for $4 and a penny. And I would be completely full. But it was awesome because it kept really well, and I could eat the rest of it later. So, like, when I was broke, and college student and stuff like that, I was talking about, right? This was a little bit before. Dude, for $4 and a penny, I could have my meals, not just meals for the day. I can go to Rick's place and be like, I like to get an order of barbecue cheese fries. I'm good. I'm set for the day. Or I'm even set for, like, even if it was later at night, it's like, I got dinner. I got breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I'm good to go. So
fair.
Those are my top 2, and then Tofty's is definitely number 3, man. After the experience with you, it was amazing. It was so good. I'm so glad that we got to experience that.
Yeah, and not even to mention, something that also really goes well with food is obviously drinks, right? Because you got to wash it down with something. Tofty's also has a couple really amazing bartenders, and their selection of drinks is really, really good.
Their cocktails are really good.
I don't remember what kind of rum you got, but that rum was so fantastic. But they also have like the seasonal blackberry sangria right now.
Yeah,
that was so fucking awesome.
Yeah, the sangria was really good because I got a sip of that from you. I don't remember what. Oh, Chrissy got like something that tasted like a hot chocolate milkshake, dude. It was like, I don't remember what it was, but like it tasted like a hot chocolate milkshake, but it was alcoholic. It was great. Like
it had
a little bit of a mint flavor too, I guess, with it. It was like chocolate mint, but dude, like whatever it was she got, dude, was
They also have a drink. I don't remember what they call it, but it's got like it's got like a coffee liqueur in it, and it tastes like lightly creamed coffee.
Like a cappuccino or something?
No, because that would be too much cream for how this tastes. But it's next time we go. Next time we go,
I'll try it out.
I'll show you that one. But they've got some really awesome drinks there too. But yeah, as far as other best experiences for me, my number 2 would have to be a place that is near and dear to me, but no longer exists. It is the Gasthaus. It was an old German restaurant. It's been around here for decades.
It had been around.
It had been around here for decades. It's older than my parent. It was older than my parents. But it was this old German style building, and it was on Grandview Boulevard, right on the border of Milwaukee and Waukesha. And I had only been there once, but I ended up, I don't even remember what was all on my plate, because I got like this variety thing that had a bunch of different like meats and like smaller pieces of dishes.
Did it have schnitzel?
It had schnitzel on it.
That's important.
It had a German pork sausage. It had these like there's a specific name for it, but there's a specific type of like German potato pancake that they serve, and it had just all of these things on a massive plate. Like I don't usually take things home unless I order more than I know that I can eat. I had to take probably a quarter of that meal home.
Yeah.
Because it was just this massive plate of stuff, and it was so awesome.
Bro, I can totally speak to the German food thing, because my very first job, when I was like 15 years old, living out in Texas, there's this little place in Hutto, Texas, okay? Hutto, Texas is about 40 miles away from Austin, okay? It was a German restaurant, and it was owned by like first-generation Americans. Their son was the second generation. His name was Lars. To the point where, because they had dual citizenship, Lars had to, when he turned 21, had to leave. He was like the head chef, or head cook, whatever you want to say. He had to leave and go to Germany and spend 9 months in the army, because that's how you keep your dual citizenship, right?
Oh, fuck.
And,
all right.
But my first job there was, I was a busboy and dishwasher.
Oh, okay.
But I was 15, and again, this is, time's passed. People ain't gonna see this. It doesn't matter. But like in Germany, where they're from, dude, basically, if you're tall enough to sit at the bar, you're old enough to drink. Like if you're big enough to sit at the bar, you're old enough to drink. So like we had a beer garden, and I know that you guys have a beer garden here up near like one of the disc golf courses, whatever it's called.
Yeah, and we have pop-up ones.
Yeah, but they had a beer garden, like constant beer garden at the restaurant. So, like, I would work till whatever o'clock, and Lars, before he went to the army, in Germany, had told my parents, hey, look, I'll take him home, because we lived like 15 minutes from the place, whatever, but sometimes I wouldn't get off till a little bit later, and they, he was just like, I'll bring him home, don't worry about it. Bro, we closed the restaurant at like 10 o'clock. I wouldn't get home till 1 in the morning.
Wow.
And I'm like 15 years old, and they're feeding me beer like I'm a grown-ass man, because they're just like, you're part of the family, you work here, you're part of the family. But like, it's like, that's why I brought the schnitzel and stuff like that, because I feel you, man. You go to a restaurant like that, and the plate that you get, like you order, and I'm not saying that there's not other restaurants out here that do that, because there are, but German restaurants especially, they're like, you order a plate that's like $10, $15, whatever, okay? You go to like some restaurants, and it's like, you can easily eat that food. Sometimes you think you want more, right? No. It ain't like that with a German restaurant.
No.
You order that plate, I mean, it's stacked to the brim, bro. And
the plate itself is usually too small.
Oh, exactly. Like
they don't make bigger plates.
No, and the point is, like, with it, like you said, we both, we're big boys. We like to eat. Like, you get one of them plates, you are taking something home.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so much food.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, because but the great thing about it is, like, with the way, because the way German food is, a lot of the ingredients are cheaper than some of the other restaurants, right? Like, you're not talking about ordering like a sirloin steak or a filet or anything like that. You're talking about ordering like sausages and potatoes and things like that. So those things are cheap ingredients.
Yeah.
But they do that because it's cheap ingredients. Because Germany, especially like through World War II and different things like that, like that they dealt with poverty issues, so they had to make do with what they could. But man, did they make do, because their food is amazing.
It's very, very good.
It's definitely fat boy food.
It's definitely fat boy food. And, I wanted to say, relating to the whole, you're 15, but you're part of the family, we'll just feed you. Well, I can attribute to that, too, because, well, in Wisconsin, I don't know if you know this, but as long as you have parent permission, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're allowed to drink.
Didn't know that.
Like, there are some companies, like restaurants and bars and stuff, who will not allow minors in, just like company policy.
Yeah.
But technically speaking, if I was a 15-year-old and I walked into a bar that didn't have a policy like that with my dad, he could order me drinks. I can't order my drinks, but he can, and just hand them to me.
Well, if you weren't over 21 already, I'd be like, don't worry, buddy, you can call me daddy.
But yeah, and so like, growing up in that environment, like that kind of story, not unusual in Wisconsin.
Well, that's also because there's a lot of German history here in this area.
That is why. I mean, this was the last state to go to a 21-year-old drinking age.
Yeah.
It was the last state to do that, and even when they did, people who were 18 at the time were grandfathered in. So my mom was actually 18 when that law changed, but because she had turned 18 before then, she was able to continue drinking. So she was drinking all through college at that point. So like it was like, yeah, if you're 18 now, you can continue to drink, but next year you have to be 19. And then the year after that you have to be 20, and then it was 21. But even still, the law hasn't changed to, and I think it might be the only state in which that is legal, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, I mean, to this day, you can drink in public as a minor as long as you have a parent with you.
That's interesting because it's like it's like tattoos and piercings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I love about Wisconsin when it comes to the drinking thing, and drinking is along with the food, so we'll talk about it. I read this story recently where there was this like drinking contest down in Mexico, and they literally posted on the thing, if you're from Wisconsin, USA, you're not allowed to enter this drinking contest.
You're not allowed to compete.
You're not allowed to compete. It's like, you can go play different places in the world, like other countries. No, you can't outdrink Wisconsin. Like,
there is a list of the 25 drunkest cities in America.
We have like 19 of them.
Yeah, 19 or 20 of them are
in Wisconsin.
Like one of them is Appleton.
Yeah.
And like Oshkosh.
Sheboygan's up there.
Milwaukee.
I know that Milwaukee, West Allis, because
Madison is.
But Milwaukee, West Allis is like number 22 or 23. I was like, oh, it's down a little bit lower on the list, but it's still there.
Yeah, Milwaukee isn't even as big of drinking. Madison is pretty big because of college.
A lot of them are like backwoods, like podunk towns. I'm like, where is this place? And it's like,
there are cities on that list in Wisconsin I have not heard of.
Yeah,
except for that list.
But yeah, literally, you'll have like 5 or 6 maybe, like places outside of Wisconsin on that list. Everywhere else is top 25 drunkest cities is Wisconsin.
And I'm pretty sure we also have the top 5.
I think you're like the top 7.
I know we at least have the top 5.
Yeah, you definitely have the top 5, absolutely. But I think it's like the top 7. I think the 8th city is like somewhere else. But I think it's just like across the border in Illinois or something like that. It's like not even that far away. It's like
a good chunk of northern Illinois is basically the same culture as Wisconsin. So the only difference is that they drive like shit. But just kidding. I love you guys.
He's not wrong though.
I love you guys as long as I'm not behind you on the freeway.
Dude, speaking of that, did I tell you a story? Totally unrelated to food, but did I tell you a story about when me and Chrissy came back?
Yes.
From dropping my kids off?
But they haven't.
Yeah, so...
well, they might have. I don't remember what you've told me and not them.
Yeah. So early January, I had taken my kids back to Georgia. We're coming back. My wife Chrissy is with me. I'm going through Chicago. Okay, and most of once you get to South Chicago and you're going through Chicago, most of it is a 4-lane highway. Okay, 4-lane interstate. I am in the 3rd lane, which is like one away from the fast lane, which is the furthest to the left. I know that looks backwards on the camera, but so furthest to the left is the fast lane. I'm in the one before that, or actually, I was actually in this. Yeah, I was in the one before that. There's a guy in front of me. I'm getting up to him. I need to pass him. In the lane to the right of him, which is the second lane, not the slow lane, is a semi. And then there's like some, another car in this over here. I get into the fast lane, I pass the guy, and normally, like a cultured driver is supposed to do, I use the passing lane to pass, and then I get back over. That's what the quote-unquote fast lane, guys, just so you know, it's called the passing lane. Don't stay in it. Get out of it. You use it to pass people, and you move on. Anyway, usually I would get right over. Man, I just had this weird feeling. And I didn't get over immediately. And so, but I'm passing, and I would sped up enough, all of a sudden, truck driver in lane 2, his front driver side tire blows out. Okay? And he starts, it blows out, so the truck leans and starts going this way. Almost clips the car I pass. Almost hits my wife dead in the door. Luckily, I slammed on it. I saw it happening, so I slammed on it as soon as I saw the explosion of the tire, and before the truck had, and literally he just barely misses us. Okay? But when the explosion happened, something hit the part of the tire hits the windshield, and it wakes my wife up because she's asleep in the passenger seat. Wakes my wife up, and I was like, "Babe, did you see that? Are you okay?" She's like, "Oh yeah, everything's fine," and goes back to sleep.
Because she didn't actually see it.
My wife actually, what happened was, because it was during snow season, she literally thought it was just snow off of a vehicle that hit our car. Had no idea, absolutely no idea, that she was this close to being smashed by a fucking semi. Because I brought it up to her, I told Josiah the story, like a week after we got back. And then Josiah has a second job. He works for me, but he works with my mother-in-law and my wife at the daycare. And Josiah says something to Christy about it. She's like, "What are you talking about?" And Josiah's like, "What? You don't know?" Yeah. Wife had no idea. No idea. That's how amazing of a husband I am. I saved her from near death, and she would have just never known. She'd have lived her life fine. But anyway, that's a Chicago story.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chicago, too, one of our favorite people is in Chicago. His name is Carmelo. He's part of the Nick and Mello Hyperspace podcast, and we just did an episode on Star Wars. Check it out. Last episode. Also check out their podcast.
It's both of them are wonderful people.
Shameless advertising in the middle of
It was an absolute pleasure to have them on.
Probably other than like some of the ones we've done by ourselves, I love all of our guests that we've had, so please don't take this the wrong way. But probably one of the most enjoyable podcasts that we've had. Yeah. Just because of the back and forth and the interaction. I mean, I'm biased. I love my cousin Nick, and as I get to know Mello more, love him to death too. So, that's part of it. But yeah. Anyway, back to
food.
The meat and taters.
I'll tell you now that we're done with that tangent.
I know, right? Getting off of something. Hey,
German food's great.
To be fair, we had no idea what we were going to do as a podcast tonight. So, the variety special could have been a thing, but
it's true.
But yeah, so we talked about Tofties, we talked about that. So, but
I got to tell them about my third favorite food, though.
Your third favorite food or restaurant?
My third favorite restaurant that I've ever been to.
I mean, are we doing a top 5 tonight? What are we doing?
Well, you did a top 3. I did a top 3.
That's fair.
So it's I don't know how they're doing, because it was something that was brand new when I got up there and was in the basement of a hotel.
Okay.
But when I turned 16, there's a tradition in my family where grandparents take grandkids on a trip of their choice when they turn 16.
Well, that's so much better than my family's tradition, which was when you turn 16, pick a bottle of alcohol, but you got to drink the whole thing that night. Because they're trying to turn us into not alcoholics. Oh my God, the story I can tell you about my stepbrother. My stepbrother got so drunk that I had to sit in the bathtub with him between my legs and me holding him up. And we were in high school, and he I gotta tell you the story. I'm sorry. I got to tell you the story, and I'll let you finish. I'm holding him up. We're in the bathtub. We ran some warm water. By this time, it's cold because we're just trying to cool him off and get him. He's so drunk though. He's just like, oh. my father and my stepmother, we all lived together in this house. They were oblivious to the fact that he was not a virgin anymore. I knew because he's my brother, right? Mm-hmm. He's told me, my stepbrother. He's my, he's sitting there, You know how people get when they're drunk and they're like, "I love you," and I love you. He's like, "I love you. I love Jamie." Jamie was a girlfriend. I love that Jamie lets me fuck her. And like he starts going on this tangent about sexual things that they do together. And my stepmother is literally standing in the doorway. And I'm like, am I going to die right here as a casualty of war? Because I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm being the brother holding him up. But he's just admitted this thing. And my stepmother's face went red. Just red. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm going to die. And I didn't even do anything wrong. But it's fantastic because this talks in the food thing. This is great. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't say shit to him. Okay? Until the next morning. So we wake up, and again, part of the tradition, that happens. Next morning, someone cooks breakfast. Eggs, pancakes, bacon, full fucking breakfast, right? And we're sitting at the breakfast, man, and he's hung over his shit, and he's eating his pancakes. And there goes my stepmom asking about, so, does that taste as good as Jamie? Because one of the things he said was about that, right? Bro, I spit my food everywhere. I had a fucking big old bite of scrambled eggs in my mouth, and I went and just spit my food everywhere, dude. Because my stepmom was like, does that pancake taste as good as Jamie? And I was just like, oh shit, he's dead. No. So, anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's a wonderful story.
You reminded me of that. So
yeah, this tradition they take us on a trip of our choice, and we went on a road trip through Canada. Canada.
Oh, Canada. Wait. Did you go to a Tim Hortons?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Then I can allow this story to happen. Go ahead.
But yeah, we stopped through London, Ontario, Toronto, Montreal, Quebec City, but this story takes place in between, I think it's between Toronto and Montreal, in the Canadian side of Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And this is the first time I'd been to Niagara Falls, still the only time I've been in the falls.
Did you go over in a barrel?
No.
That would have been sweet. Why can't you
also possibly deadly.
Why can't you add that to our story?
I have a picture that's photoshopped of me falling down.
That's good enough. That's good enough.
Okay. I'll show it to you.
You did it metaphorically.
I did it metaphysically. It's
metaphysically, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And there were some cool restaurants we went to. They have one of those big rotating restaurants on top of the big spire thing that they have.
The Space Needle in Seattle.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the Space Needle, pretty much. And we had food up there, and it was good. I don't really remember it very well. It's actually where I got that picture taken. But the really good food was the basement of the Silver Hotel. Just call it
Silver
that.
Dick Hotel.
I don't know what it was called, but the place under it was called AG Silver Cuisine. Now AG is the periodic element of silver, and
I get that and I like it. Yeah.
And we were just looking for reviews for good food, right? And this place came up in a search, and we were just like, sure, let's go there.
Right.
And this building had just been fucking built. This restaurant could not have been around for more than 3 weeks because it was impossible to fucking find. There was no signs for this restaurant. There were only signs for the hotel.
Okay.
And the hotel was brand fucking new. But this restaurant under it was really nicely lit, and it was It was just really, really, really nice. And I had these lamb chops with, I don't remember what they called it, but it was bread with bacon and cheese baked into it.
This on the side?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So
along with the lamb chops and like asparagus.
But yeah, it has nothing to do with the lamb chops itself. It was just a side piece.
It was a side piece to the lamb chops.
Just making sure, because I was like, bread, lamb chops, bacon, cheese. Okay.
But yeah, it was lamb chops.
So it's like a garlic bread of sorts that you would get at an Italian restaurant, but better.
Yeah. But it was just incredible. I still just remember how it tasted, and it was just like the lamb. They still had it on the bones, and it just like fell off. Like it was just so tender and good. Like I didn't need a knife to cut it. I just like picked it apart with my fork off the bone.
Yeah.
And this like baked whatever it fucking was. I don't even know how to describe it other than bread with cheese and bacon baked into it.
Yeah.
But it was like softer too, and it was still warm. It was so fucking good.
And see, what's really cool, because you're like, you sit here, you just said, you're like, I can still taste it, right? It's so I don't know if you guys know this, but scent is the strongest scent, or the strongest sense. Can't talk. Your olfactory nerve is your strongest sense tied to memory, right? That's why, like, we can walk through somewhere, smell something, and it's like, I remember this from the 7th grade or whatever. What's really cool is your sense of smell is tied to your sense of taste, so that makes like that whole thing really cool, because you can literally remember. Like I can sit here right now and I can be like, barbecue cheese fries from Hog Heaven, and I can taste it in my mouth. Like I can't taste it, but I can. That's that ghost image kind of thing. It's like. But my mouth will start watering.
My mouth has been watering this whole day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm trying not to drool. I'm like, trying not to drool. But that's what's really cool about that is like, you can have that type of memory sense to it, to where it's like, man, I was only there when I was 16, which isn't that long ago for you compared to me.
It's true. It was 6 years ago.
Right, but 6 years is still, a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Like you have not eaten the food from there in 6 years,
And only that one time.
But you can be like, I remember the way it tastes.
I remember the way it looked when I was picking the lamb off the bone. I could remember what the bread tasted like. It was like soft. It wasn't very grainy.
Yeah.
It was like probably like around 90, 100 degrees. It was smooth, and it was almost like not quite this texture, but it was like almost the texture of like a bread pudding, but a little bit more firm.
Yeah, so keep in mind that your mouth, right? Your mouth is 98.6, right? Around that area. Right?
Yeah, so probably warmer than that.
Probably a little bit warmer. Probably around like 120. So like not super hot, but warm enough.
Yeah,
like, let me put it this way. When you picked it up with your hands, it felt warm, right? But when you put it in your mouth, it didn't burn you, right? Probably around 120, something like that.
Yeah.
Internal temperature, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that. More equating the difference in temperature to skin contact.
Yeah, for sure.
But I ate it with a fork and knife because it was a fancy place.
I don't want to dirty my fingers.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut this up.
Mm-hmm.
What are you eating? A French fry. A fry of the French variety.
That reminds me of... I'm assuming you're familiar with Monty Python.
Yes.
The Meaning of Life.
The Meaning of Life.
Do you remember what you just said reminds me of?
No, but go ahead and say it.
Mr. Creosote?
Oh. Okay, yes. So for our viewers that might not know, go ahead.
I want to describe this scene because it is one of my favorite scenes in cinema. It's so fucking funny. There is this massive human being, just like picture a kickball, and then like the size of a human being in height, but also around, and then put a little head on top of it. That's Mr. Creosote. He comes waddling into this fancy, like, French restaurant, and the waiter goes...
The better way I might describe it is Violet and... after she's eaten the blueberry?
After she's eaten the blueberry, she's just this, like, giant ball of a person.
Yes.
So imagine that, but this large, like, older man, and he comes waddling into this nice French restaurant, and the waiter's like, "Oh, yes, Mr. Creosote, how can I... your table's right over here, sir." And he goes and sits down, and the waiter goes, "And how are you today, sir?" And he's like, "Better." "Oh, better, that's good." "Better get me a bucket, I'm gonna throw up." And the waiter has someone come over with a bucket, and dude turns his head to the side and just projectile vomits into the bucket, and it lands all over the floor around it. And he takes one look at the menu, looks back up at the waiter, and is like, "I'll have the lot." And then it pans to another scene where it's just his table's full of empty plates, and he's just like eating things, and he's had everything on the menu, and there's nothing left. He's like finishing his last bite, and the waiter comes over. "And how about a mint to finish your meal?" I'm full, couldn't eat another bite." And, like, he's clearly disgusted everyone in the restaurant at this point, because through his meal, he's projectile vomiting into this bucket on the side. He's like, "But it's just a laugh-a-thing." He's like, "Alright, fine." And he goes and eats it, and then he fucking explodes. Like, rib cage open, just explodes, and there's, like, blood and vomit all over the restaurant. People run out screaming.
It's an amazing representation of gluttony.
It really is.
Which is what, from my interpretation of the movie, it was what that was supposed to represent. Which is gluttony. So. Yeah.
But yeah, that's like one of my favorite
scenes. Now that you said it, I'm like, oh my god, yes, I remember that scene. Like,
so fucking funny. Please, if you have not seen that movie, go look up that scene. It's so.
Well, if you haven't
so
seen,
funny.
If there's anything on the Monty Python like list that you have not seen,
Meaning of Life.
Just like
yeah,
just in general.
Go watch all of Monty Python ever.
Monty's John Cleese is one of my favorite people ever. Like for example, in The Holy Grail. What I love about John Cleese. So you remember the wizard scene where he was like, "And some call me Tim," right? Like it came out later, and they said like he was supposed to say this name that was like this long, and he couldn't fucking remember it. So he just said Tim, and everybody went with it. So like I'm blah blah blah, I'm blah blah blah, I'm blah blah blah, but some call me Tim. like John Cleese is just like that fucking dude that can pull that off and just be like, fuck it. He had the balls and the power to fucking do that at the time. So yeah, John Cleese was fucking amazing. But
there's still some Monty Python stuff that I haven't seen, and every time I get a chance, I always like to.
And we'll talk more about that stuff in our movie episode, which is coming up soon. We're gonna talk about movies and adaptations, but that's not gonna be next week. It's gonna be soon. But
while we're on the subject, I kind of want to talk about like memorable food moments in TV or cinema, because I'll tell you this. There are some moments in like movies that I remember specifically because the food looked so goddamn good.
Yeah.
First one I want to bring up for me. Have you ever seen Spy Kids 1?
Yeah.
You remember when they like have those those little packs that they just throw in the machine, and then suddenly just big juicy burger just out of nowhere?
Or the Pizza Hut pizza, yeah.
I was fucking in love with that scene. I want it so much.
Yeah,
I still
cool.
remember that. Like, I don't remember like anything else about that movie, to be honest. But that alone,
see,
my favorite fucking thing.
My biggest food thing from cinema. Okay, there's two. The first, they're both technically not safe for work. The first one is from the movie Road Trip. where DJ Qualls, they're trying to quantify like what's not cheating, right? So like they're telling the dude like, hey, if it's in a different area code, it's not cheating, blah blah blah. And DJ Qualls is like, it's like when you put peanut butter on your balls and let your dog lick it off. It's not cheating because it's your dog. Like, so that's the first thing. I'm sorry, but this is the first thing I think of from a cinema standpoint. Food. I know it's so horrible.
No, it's funny. I love it.
But it's like, that's the first thing I think of. But then the other one is actually a movie, like I said, that I'm a part of. I told you about this. So the movie Varsity Blues was filmed on my high school football field in Georgetown, Texas. Of course, this was not part of the thing that happened in Georgetown, but the movie Varsity Blues has the famous whipped cream bikini scene. Where the cheerleader, puts the whipped cream over her titties and cherry, and then puts whipped cream over her vagina, but she's completely naked otherwise. And then famously, and I love this, and again, one of my favorite actors, if you ever see this, again, I talk about top 5 celebrities I want to meet. This guy's like probably numbered like 2 or 3, only because Ryan Reynolds will always be number 1, but anyway, that's never going to happen, but whatever. But Chris Evans famously parodied it, like he did it as a parody in Not Another Teen Movie, but he did the whipped cream bikini in that. But yeah, in the movie Varsity Blues, the chick comes out, whipped cream on her titties, so that's when I think of food in movies, those are the first things I think of.
It's because you're a pervert.
Part of it, yeah, that's part of the reason why. But then I also think about God, what was that movie? The movie with Al Pacino where he's blind. I think it's called Scent of a Woman. But it had Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell was like his guide and stuff. And there was a scene in that movie where, again, because Al Pacino's character was blind, his senses, other senses were heightened. And there was this food scene where he was talking about like the different, So like things like that. And then there's also movies that are so. Again, yes, this is probably because I'm a pervert, but when you talk about food in movies, the one movie I can't get away from, and again, because I love Ryan Reynolds, he's in this movie, Waiting.
Okay.
The movie Waiting.
I've never seen it, but there's a lot of things I haven't seen. What do you want from me?
Spencer is going to take time to watch this movie with me. So the movie
you say that about a lot of things, and we have not done any of them.
Not yet. There's an order to things, okay? But the movie Waiting. So you've been a pizza delivery driver, so you know service industry to an extent. Yeah. But I was a waiter. Like I've worked, in kitchens. I've been a waiter. I told you my very first job was a bus boy and dish guy, whatever, right? If you've ever seen the movie Waiting, very similar to the experience. And so there's a scene. There's a scene in this movie where a quote-unquote Karen sends her food back. Okay? And the kitchen staff upgrades it for her. Like, for example, one guy hawks a loogie in the mashed potatoes and gravy, stirs it up. One guy, he has very bad dandruff, so he adds a little salt and Parmesan, kind of thing, right?
Gross.
But then they added some alfalfa sprouts. That was my boy Dane Cook, who is a well-known stand-up comedian. He pulled some hairs from down below to add on for the alfalfa sprouts, and then the waitress took it back out, and she was like, yeah, this is better, No. Yeah. So, that's my food and cinema experience is like, that kind of thing.
You ever seen Spirited Away?
The horse movie?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, I was thinking about Spirit. The horse movie. I'm sorry. Spirited Away.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
How dare you disrespect?
Bro, I really thought you were about to start talking about, like, I've ate horse meat or something. I didn't know what you were talking about. Spirited Away, which has to do with the big dude with the mask and stuff, right?
Yes.
The one that gives away the gold coins.
Yep.
the hell is his name? Or what is that character?
No Face.
No Face. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen those movies. Yes, I've seen those movies.
Studio Ghibli is awesome. I love Studio Ghibli.
One of my favorite people in TV, cinema, whatever. Did you ever see MythBusters?
Yeah, I love Mythbusters.
So you know Adam from
Dude,
MythBusters?
Adam Savage is an absolute madman, and I know what you're talking about.
Do you remember where he went to San Diego Comic-Con
as No
Face, and went to hand out the gold coins, and then people were like, "This is a bad thing," and he was like, "Oh," because what Adam Savage did was he got chocolate gold coins, like you get at Easter or whatever. He was trying to hand those out, to be part of the thing, and people were like, "I ain't touching that," no, because that means I'm dying, yeah. But yeah, so I've seen, yes. And here's the thing: you can bring up Spirited Away. You can bring up any Studio Ghibli movie. Talking about the food. What was the one with the little flame?
I haven't actually had a chance to see a lot of Studio Ghibli movies. That's the thing. It's something that I need to sit down and do.
I want to say it was Howl's Moving Castle, or it was either Howl's Moving Castle or Kiki's. I can't remember. I want to say it was Howl's Moving Castle that had the little flame dude. And they cooked up some but dude.
But yeah,
food in anime period. We're gonna have an anime episode coming up soon. We'll probably talk about this in that episode. Food in anime.
There is some anime where it's like yeah, that obviously looks good, but Studio Ghibli always takes it to another fucking level. Even though there's a lot of the movies that I haven't seen, I've seen a lot of the clips from other movies. But all of the food in Spirited Away I've seen so many times. It just makes my mouth water. I still remember one of the first scenes where there were all those sausages and when her parents turned into pigs.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking loved that part.
Have you ever heard of Binging with Babish?
Oh, yeah, Binging with Babish is awesome.
So Binging with Babish, whatever, I'm from the South, he's from here. He pronounces things wrong. We had this conversation earlier when it came to... All right, for those out there, let's just settle this debate. Put it in the comments. There's a little round bread that you put in the toaster. You put cream cheese on normally. In the South, or everywhere that I've known, we call it a bagel. What do you call it up here, Spence?
It's called a bagel.
Bagel? Bagel. Bagel? Bagel. Put in the comments. Let's get votes. Let's see what it actually is supposed to be called. But anyway, Binging with Babish, I love it because he creates some awesome anime foods.
He does.
Stuff that you're there's no way they could ever make that, real. And it's mouth-watering just to watch. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I was done.
I got him with the bagel.
No, here's the thing. There's no wrong way to pronounce things. As long as it is something done by a significant portion of a community, right? That's just how it works. That's how language evolves.
To an extent, but
that's how accents develop.
A certain part of a community can still be wrong compared to the rest of the world.
I mean, yeah, you guys down south call it Coke.
Well, no, that's not a pronunciation issue.
Well, yeah, but you guys pronounce things differently down south that no other English speakers in the world pronounce.
Well, yeah, because we have a different drawl and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people down there aren't still wrong. It doesn't make you not wrong for this.
It's not wrong. It's different. That's my point.
It's not wrong. It's just not right.
No, it's not wrong. It's different. That's how accents develop.
We'll get into that. We will have an episode on languages.
No, we won't.
At some point.
Because
Spencer doesn't want to because
I don't want to because you know that you're purposely bothering me.
I know that I'm right.
No, you don't know that you're right. You know you're taking the stance just to bother me.
We're on the food episode right now. We're on the food episode.
You're bothering me. I love you.
Do you like cream cheese on your bagel?
I do like cream cheese. Cream cheese is really awesome. Yeah. Cream cheese is good.
Panera has like different flavored cream cheeses. So I'm usually a savory person when it comes to bagels. Like I love the everything bagel with just regular old cream cheese. Like that's like my go-to. Like number one is like, you know, if you were like, hey, I'm going to so and so place, I'm going to get bagels. What do you want? Be like everything bagel cream cheese, right?
Yeah.
But Panera has one sweet bagel that I like, which is the cinnamon crunch one. It has the cinnamon shit on the outside, right? And then get me some of that hazelnut cream cheese.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
With it, which is also kind of sweet. Like, I would eat that for dessert. Like, really, yeah.
I'm not a big, like, I've definitely had bagels before, and I do like bagels, but...
Never had one of those.
See, he's doing it just... I knew that you were doing it I knew that you went back to the bagel conversation just because...
No, I was trying to get away from it. I really was.
I don't believe you.
I was literally trying to get away from it. I was trying to tell you, like, what I like.
You're shrugging your shoulders like this because that's what you do when you're being cheeky.
Anyway.
I know you too well.
Finish your bagel. Your bagel story.
So, anyways, like, I'm not a big bagel person.
No, sorry.
But, like, bagels are pretty good. You know, we got to go to Einstein Bros sometime.
I've been to Einstein Bros.
I've never.
Really?
No, I've heard they got good bagels though. That's
no. There's a place in Wauwatosa that Andy and Victoria told me about today.
Oh yeah.
Can't remember the name of it. There's only like 3 locations. It's only in Wisconsin. There's only three locations. There's one in Wauwatosa. A couple other places they were telling me about, but I had it today. So they brought back like an everything bagel, which it was delicious. You know, I didn't try it. I could tell it was delicious. There was a garlic bagel, which I'd never seen before. But I'm talking about when you smelled it, like you could tell it was garlic, right? And then like Victoria gave me half of one of her bagels, which was. It was like Asiago Parmesan.
Ooh,
it had Asiago Parmesan on the outside, and then she put this vegetarian cream cheese, it wasn't vegetarian, but it was veggie cream cheese because it had vegetables in it. I had that, dude. It was delicious. I was just like, wow.
That sounds really, really good.
It was so good. Like, imagine, like, the best, like, cheesy breadsticks from a pizza place you've had, you know, with cream cheese on the bottom or whatever. Like... Imagine that.
That sounds really, really awesome.
It was delicious. But we gotta check out that place. We'll check out Einstein's. Like Einstein's is really good. Einstein's is good. Like don't get me wrong, Einstein's is good. But as someone who like because Einstein's is very familiar in the South because we've had a lot of them down there. It's like it's one of those places where. All right, I'll tell you what I would. If it was like if it came down to a choice of like I just want the bagel with the cream cheese. I'm going to go to somewhere like Panera or something like that, right? If I want the bagel to, like, make a sandwich with, you know, because one of the big things about bagels, however you want to pronounce it, I'm giving Spencer shit, is like, the consistency from, like, crunchy outside to soft inside, right?
That's very important.
It's very important. And, then, like, whether you want to toast it or not, that kind of thing, right? So, like, with a Panera... I want to toast like a Panera bread like bagel. I want to toast it and then put cream cheese on it because that's the consistency. That's what I like, right? With Einstein Bros, it's one of those where like I don't even have to toast it. I can take and go get like some condiments, mayonnaise, mustard, whatever. Put it on there. Put my ham, cheese, my lettuce on there, and just make like an amazing sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like. I would rather use Einstein Bros for like to make a sandwich because it's soft enough without toasting and everything like that, like to just make it as like a sandwich bread. Okay. If that makes sense. You know
that makes a lot of sense. You know, the reason I haven't like I don't really know much about like specifically like bagel places to go to is because a lot of like when I go to do like breakfast type of stuff. I like normally float towards like sandwiches, right? Mm-hmm. And there are like bagel sandwiches.
There's some, exist. But like most places, like McDonald's and places like that, have removed them.
Yeah, and even then, like the ones at like fast food places aren't that good. And when you go to like a sit down place, most of the breakfast sandwiches that they have aren't really on bagels. A lot of them are like English muffin, croissant, just like sourdough or something, right?
Yeah.
I love me some sourdough bread. It's really good. Like as far as like or like fast food breakfast goes, Dunkin' I've been going to a lot lately.
Dunkin', like you brought me the Dunkin' the other day.
That was really good.
So it's really good. Here's my only issue that I had with Dunkin' was that the eggs weren't seasoned that well.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. So I had a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant, right? Because I asked, Spencer was like, "Hey, I'm coming over. I'm gonna get Dunkin'. What do you want?" I was like, "Get me a bacon, egg, and cheese something." Right? Croissant was great. Bacon was good.
The thing I really liked about that one is it was a sweet black pepper bacon. So it was like it had that like kind of sweet and spicy to it, which I really liked.
The bacon, like I said, I had no problems with the bacon, the cheese that was on it, the croissant was good. The egg itself was just like no seasoning whatsoever.
Yeah, the eggs aren't seasoned.
Yeah, and so that was my problem. But like, so I'm gonna tell you this, because there's only one place around here. It's in Cudahy, which is Hardee's, which is very, very prominent in the South. So Hardee's / Carl's Jr.'s for those people out west. Hardee's breakfast. I used to work there when I was a kid, so I was like 16, 17 when I worked there. It was after, when I moved back to Georgia. Bro, their Frisco sandwich. You talking about sourdough? Bro, Frisco sandwich. So you're talking about egg, cheese, ham on a, like, grilled sourdough. Like, not toasted, put on the grill.
Ooh.
Grilled sourdough. So the inside is still soft or whatever. The outside is really toasty. And then you got the egg, cheese, ham.
That sounds really good.
The Frisco sandwich is fucking phenomenal.
So there is a Hardee's in Cudahy. There's also one in Wales, west of here. It's right out. It's in Hartford.
Is it near the Dolphins? I'm just kidding.
But we should go there sometime. I've been to Hardee's because there was a Hardee's somewhere like outside of Green Bay that me and my family would stop to every time that we went up north.
I love their breakfast,
and I've never had their breakfast though. I've had their other food and it's good, but I've never had their breakfast. So if you're saying that their breakfast's really good,
their breakfast is 10 times better than their lunch stuff.
Then we gotta go.
Their breakfast is 10 times like Hardy. Like for example, they make made from scratch biscuits. You got like old lady Mary, or whoever coming in at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning to make the fucking dough to make the biscuits. Like their biscuits, I can tell you like straight up are not frozen. That old lady, whatever you can call her, whatever you want to call her. She comes in at 3 o'clock in the morning. She starts kneading the dough, and makes the biscuits, bro. It's like their biscuits are made from scratch, first of all, and then there are other things like even their lunch stuff. The thing that the problem that they have from a lunch standpoint and dinner standpoint is they're not fast food, like technically, because the meat they use a char broiler that's on like a fucking conveyor belt to cook it. It's not like. I mean, anywhere else like McDonald's, whatever, you throw it on the grill for like 10 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever, and it's cooked, right? It literally takes like 4 minutes to go through this fucking char broiler to cook it the right way. So because it's so much slower, they don't do as well at dinner and stuff like that. So yeah, but and that's one of the things. Like dude, I miss the $6 burger. So I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's from Hardee's. It was a $6 burger. So it was 2 quarter-pound patties, so half-pound burger. Okay? Lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, but the pickles were bread and butter pickles instead of dill pickles.
Dude, I appreciate the dill lovers out there.
I love dill pickles too. I still love dill pickles.
I always love dill pickles, but on a sandwich...
Like a deli sandwich?
Bread and butter. Every day.
Bro.
Like, if I was going to just eat a pickle.
Yeah.
Dill.
Yeah, just a straight
If I am
pickle.
going to put a pickle on anything.
Bread and butter.
Bread and butter. Every time. Every time.
Like, if we're having a cookout in my backyard in a couple months, you know what I'm going to have for them burgers? I'm going to have me some bread and butter pickles.
Yeah, with the crinkle cut.
Yeah, the crinkle cut bread and butter pickles, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the little slivers or whatever they call it. The
spears.
Well, not spears, but the ones that are like if you took a whole pickle
and then you cut
just slice it down like this, the whatever those things are called, the slivers. I just call them slivers, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, you gotta get the coin crinkle cut.
Yeah, I'm
bread and butter.
I'm talking about chopping up a pickle like this, and a crinkle cut. That, and I'll put like 6 of them.
Oh yeah.
On that burger. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might just fit 3, but I'm gonna fit 3 more stacked on top, like in different directions, like.
And it doesn't matter if they fall off because you pick them off the plate.
No, because every bite of my burger
gotta have pickle.
Is gonna have that pickle, and it's gonna be a bread and butter.
That reminds me. When I was little, I was like an absolute fiend for pickle relish.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes it was just easier to have the relish than an actual chip.
Hold on, let me stop you with that.
Yeah.
Tuna salad. Chicken salad, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Tuna salad, chicken salad, deviled eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Dill pickles or sweet relish?
Like, in what context?
So you're making, like, chicken salad, tuna salad, or you're making deviled eggs, right? Mm-hmm. You're mixing it into the thing. You got to put relish in there because all of them have relish, right? If they're made correctly, they're supposed to.
I've made tuna salad and chicken salad before. I've never put relish in it. What I do for the crunch is I cut up celery.
Okay, I'm sorry. So let me just correct you and give you a southern thing here, okay?
it might be a southern thing because I've never heard of that.
I will take you to the quick trip now.
That sounds good.
Dude, if I buy the little tuna on the go kit, right?
Yeah.
That has like a little can of tuna, crackers and stuff like that, mayonnaise, and it has a relish packet, right?
I've never bought one of those.
Anyway, my point is the answer. I'll give you the answer. The answer is sweet relish.
Oh always. Yeah, I mean I agree.
There's some people out there.
I would not do it with dill.
But some people out there put dill in there. The only thing that you can put dill in that's a quote unquote salad like that is potato salad. If you put dill pickle, in your potato salad, I'm okay with it. I would still prefer sweet relish personally, but I will eat your dill pickle potato salad because that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's a different vessel. It's a different thing. Yeah. You put dill pickle in a chicken salad or tuna salad, something like that, or you put dill pickle in your deviled eggs. I'm gonna ask who made this. I'm gonna say, please don't bring this next year. Like, you come to the family get together, I'm gonna be like, you don't get to make this next year.
Nah.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna put the sweet relish in.
Well, another thing about the dill versus sweet, there is one thing that I do really like to pair dill with.
Okay.
Goat cheese.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah.
Like if you want to do if you're preparing if you're preparing a party or something and you're making hors d'oeuvres
or a charcuterie board. I'm sorry, it's charcuterie, but
I saw a coochie board.
I saw a coochie board.
I love that meme. That's a meme.
I saw a coochie board. Yeah, it's called charcuterie or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I saw a coochie board.
If you're making little things to eat and pass, a little bit of a small one of those mini dill pickles, and a little bit of goat cheese on just a little
cracker
toothpick.
Or something. Yeah.
Or on a cracker. Cracker works too.
Do you put meat with it too, like a salami or something?
You totally can, but even just the goat cheese and the dill pickle work really, really well together. I can see
it being okay, but I would feel like you would want some meat or something with it just to.
I've done it with meat. It works really well on its own too, though.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to go bigger with it, you could definitely smear goat cheese on a cracker, more as a spread kind of cheese, and then salami and dill pickle on top of that. That would be really good too.
Yeah.
Goat cheese, and dill pickle work really well.
All right, so I mean we're getting really deep in this episode. We don't want to make it too far, but real quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about food, and this is something I want in the comments from you guys. Go to you know what? If I have to name something, this is what I want to eat, right? Or just your go-to favorite food, I'm not saying snack. Hold on, let me. I'm gonna give you some parameters here, okay? Yeah. not your favorite snack, whatever. I'm talking about like a meal type of food, right? Like, hey, Spencer, you came over. We're going to get dinner. I need you to make a suggestion. And the only suggestion you can make is your favorite, type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, because this is a conversation. We've even had this recently with like Chrissy, when we're trying to figure out food, right? I don't want your snack. I don't want anything like that. It's like, all right, I want this.
I'm going to up the stakes for my own personal answer.
Sure.
I'm going to up the stakes to if I could choose one thing to eat for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Sushi. Hands down.
Like nigiri or actually sushi?
Sushi.
Okay. Is there a particular type of sushi, or just because you can have the variety?
Well, there is variety in sushi, which I do like.
Yeah.
But like if you say pizza, like there's a lot of different kinds of pizza you can have. If you choose burger, like you can also have different burger meats. Like you can have turkey burgers, beef burgers, all that kind of stuff. But hands down, sushi. It's really good for you. 2, I don't have to have a lot of it to feel fulfilled. 3, it's easily my favorite food by a million miles.
That's fair.
I mean, love sushi.
Okay, so that wasn't okay. If we're doing the rest of our life type thing, like if you're going to up it to that part, mine would be tacos.
Okay.
Because you can have, soft shell, hard shell. You can have all kinds of different tacos.
Yeah.
You can have potato filling. You can have, so mine would be tacos. Like,
yeah, I got you.
You could even do a sushi taco. Technically, you know what I'm saying? Like, technically, right?
Choco taco for dessert.
like if it boiled down to that, it would be like, it would be tacos. Like if it was just like if I had to choose something for the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
But my absolute like favorite type of food, and again, it goes back to something we talked about earlier, is barbecue. Like,
okay. Yeah.
That's my favorite. Like,
yeah, I got you.
If everyone like if it comes down to a night where we're like, hey, we're sitting here, hey, look, I'm sitting back now. Y'all can see the fatness, right? Oh yeah. The camera adds 70 pounds now.
No, I'm actually this fat, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, this angle actually takes off like 15 for me. But it's like if we were the way I was asking the question is like I said, it's like me, you, Chrissy.
My answer stays the same.
Okay, so that's just like, hey,
yeah,
like.
I'll give you an example. So me and my partner Alita, we went out on a date a week ago. I think it was
maybe 2 weeks ago, because
being off of school has thrown me for a loop. I'm pretty sure it was a week ago.
Well, a week ago tomorrow is when I took you out. So yeah, it actually was a week ago, because a week ago tomorrow is when I took you out, and you guys went out on a date the night before, right?
No, 2 weeks ago we went out. Because we went out the day after my birthday, and that was the 7th. So yeah, last week so tomorrow, last week
we
went out for lunch.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was like, I'm really feeling breakfast food, Lolita. And they were like, my stomach's like kind of wishy-washy with breakfast food sometimes. I was kind of feeling sushi, and I'm like, deal, sushi, let's go. Because, I was in the mood for breakfast food. Yeah. But sushi is always good.
And that's good. But what's awesome, though? It's like you wanted breakfast food, but they didn't, right? This is what I love about a lot of the Greek-style restaurants, or Greek-owned, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Around here, like Pegasus, Acropolis, all those places.
Palace.
Genesis, Palace, is you can go to those places. They serve their full menu all day. So you can have breakfast food, or you can have, they literally, if you go to Pegasus, which is just down the road over here, it's like, do you want a taco salad, or do you want this Greek thing, or do you want chicken wings, or you want some stir fry, you want some breakfast? Dude, they have everything, you know?
And their menus are so big, it's always good portions.
Yeah.
And it's also, very affordable.
Because that would be the thing, because again, as much as I want, barbecue is my thing, or tacos, whatever. If someone's like, you can only choose one restaurant to go to,
or one type of restaurant, Greek-owned restaurants,
but if
Greek family restaurants.
Yeah, but if someone was just like, you can only choose one restaurant to go to the restaurant, I'd be like, I'm gonna go to Pegasus, because I can get
whatever I want with like very little left out.
Yeah.
The one thing I wouldn't be able to have at Pegasus
Would be
is sushi,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But like, there's so much other good stuff at those kinds of places.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing is like if someone said that, like you're not necessarily going to choose like a sushi place for the rest of your life because I say that. Well, I say that. Well, I mean, there's still a variety. If you're smart, you choose one that has sushi and hibachi, right?
Yeah, it would be Fujiyama.
Fujiyama is a good one. Yeah,
Fujiyama.
Yeah.
There's a place I went to recently that I actually talked about called, what was it called? It was an Asian fusion place out in Brookfield. Yeah, I don't remember what it was called. Meiji.
Oh yeah.
It was a Japanese cuisine, like Asian fusion kind of place.
Yeah.
And they have hibachi and sushi. So
yeah, this episode again, and this is the crazy thing about it, right? Like, Star Wars is such a broad, Star Wars is such a broad universe, right? And we're gonna have multiple episodes we talked about with Mello and Nick. And we've had other episodes that were shorter than this. We're going on 2 hours right now, really close. We still got to do our mains. We still got to do our cool down. And we could keep talking about food.
We could.
Like, that's what's awesome about it, and that's why, again, you can nerd out on it, guys. And we want you to. And for those that are nerds to food, please comment. Please let us know, things like that. But we're going to get away from the meat and potatoes. We're going to call this the dessert.
Oh yeah.
Today.
What is today's dessert going into this week's mains, Tyler?
Today's dessert is the mains. Are you asking me first? Because
I'm asking you.
Oh man, I remember I talked.
You don't even remember. Your mouth's watering too much.
It is. Part of it's that. Part of it is I had it before, like when we were doing the first recording.
Oh, and now it's
And then,
it's like 3 hours later after that.
It's 3 hours later now, so I'm just like, what the hell was that, man?
I remember mine.
Yeah, you do yours. You do yours, and I'll remember mine.
So, I'm talking about some very, very important gaming news, my friends. CD Projekt Red has just announced today that the next Witcher game is in production. I love The Witcher so much. I love the franchise. I love the books. I love the games. I love the TV show. I don't love the old movie.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Or was it... I don't remember if it was an old movie or an old TV show. Either way, it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
But...
And we're going to do an episode on interpretations. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. I'm so excited, and I wanted to, it's interesting because the last, when they were moving into releasing Cyberpunk a few years ago, they were talking about how people were like, is Witcher 4 next after Cyberpunk? And they actually told people that they believe Geralt's story is over.
Okay.
So, we don't know if they've caved into pressure or if this is going to be about someone else in the Witcherverse.
Why don't you keep talking about this for a second? I'm going to step off screen for a second, guys. I'll be right back.
I'm super excited about this because I really like to, I really want to, I just love delving into The Witcher. It's one of my favorite franchises. I've been a fan since 2017, give or take some, when I first played The Witcher 3. Played a little bit of Witcher 2, but I do know pretty much the entire story from Witcher 1 to Witcher 3. I'm in the middle of reading the books. I'm currently in Blood of Elves, I'm pretty sure. No. Is Blood of Elves the second one or the first one? I'm in the second chronological book. I think it's Blood of Elves. Blood of Elves might be the first one, though. I don't remember. It's been a while. But it's been a while since I was reading it. I'm like halfway through the book and just haven't finished it yet. But I'm super excited to see what they have. I don't know if it's going to be, like there's them theories about, and this is old theories a few years ago, like maybe we have Ciri as the main character, or maybe we have a different Witcher. Maybe it's like a prequel and it's like Geralt in the past. or maybe they cave and do Witcher 4 as Geralt's the main character after the events of Blood and Wine. You know, no matter what it is, though, I'm very, very excited.
I mean, the Witcher series is awesome.
It's so fucking cool.
It's cool to see, you know, and as we talked about, like in the Star Wars episode yesterday, / last week for those watching, you know, it's like no matter what they do, when you expand on a universe like that, it's you know, for those who enjoy that universe, like it's an exciting concept. Maybe it ends up disappointing you. Hopefully it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I
don't think it will.
But I'm just saying, like, there's the possibility, and even if it does, it's like, you know, I don't think it's a full disappointment. You know, it's like, you know, I still like this part and this part. I'm a little bit disappointed about this part, but I still like this part and this part. You know, you're still, if you're a true fan, you're going to be a fan of it no matter what.
Yeah.
I remember, I remember what my main is now.
Ah, congratulations.
Our D&D session last night.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that. Like, so. We talked about this before in a past episode. I haven't gotten to play D&D in many, many years. I was blessed and lucky to be invited by Spencer and his crew, Brad. Sorry, I'm trying not to burp. Brad, Rob, Marcus, Max, who was there last night. Mm-hmm. You know, all of us were there playing together. Oliver, who couldn't make it because his wife was about to have a baby, so... Hopefully, maybe congratulations by the time this comes out.
I think she was having like the contractions that are like leading up to it, but not like I don't think they had a child today.
But hopefully, like I said, by the time this comes out.
Oh yeah, by the time this comes out. Yeah, you know, normally we record like the weekend before, so you know we're looking at a few days. This time we're looking at a week, so I was just. You know,
so hopefully weird. By the time this comes out, Oliver, congratulations. But anyway,
indeed.
Of course, my first session was more about, you know, like first off, we had to make my character sheet, which took forever. Then we got introduced, and I watched the Marcus D&D session, giving him shit. Marcus had a lot going on, and I made a joke about it yesterday. You know, but it's okay because my character is technically there to protect Marcus's character, so I don't mind, you know. But we had a huge fight yesterday, like a big boss fight type thing. I got struck in the ass by lightning 3 of the 5 rounds. So they had 5 rounds of random, quote unquote, random lightning strikes. 3 out of the 5 hit me. To the point where I went from 83 HP down to 16 at one point. And I'm a healer, but my heals are like meant to, again, protect Marcus/Sam. You know, Sam is his character. It's Marcus' character.
Their character.
Or their character, sorry. And so I'm protecting Marcus' character, Sam. And so I'm using all my heals on their character. And so I'm not using them for myself. So I had to, like, take it like a turn off, like, can I drink this greater healing potion and like not die on the next strike? But it took me like 2 rounds of that to get out of range of actually not dying. And like, yeah, it was crazy. But literally, Brad, I know how much you hate me. I understand. you and your trick D4 striking me in the butt with lightning, but no, like on real talk though, like I had such an amazing time last night. It was fantastic. The other thing too with Brad was like every saving throw on the things I was trying to do, he wouldn't hit them against anybody else. If I was trying to hit something, saving throw, it's like crit, you know, max save. It's just like, what? Like, how do you not fail a saving throw once? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Oh,
so I was literally just, you know, hanging around, but at the same time, as much shit as I'm talking and, you know, goofing off, like, loved it, had an amazing time.
It was such a fun session.
Got to spend so much, you know, fun time. Spence actually had to play 2 characters last night because we were down a person, so Spence had to end up playing 2 characters. Loved watching, because especially the one, Asara, is just like, it doesn't matter what I roll, I do it. I kill everything. Like, Asara is just a badass.
Well, you know, and the thing that I really like about Brad's games, because, you know, some games that I play in are, like, more structured and, like, there's more, like intimate encounters and stuff. In a lot of Brad's games, it's much more big and thematic. Yeah. So, like, the numbers we roll against certain opponents don't matter as much.
Yeah.
Because they're just, like we were 5 or 6 characters from our one ship, and we had, like, 3 or 4 ships on our side, maybe 5 or 6 even. And there were
7 on the other side?
2 brigs, 4 galleons, and a man-o'-war that we were facing. And so, like, there's all these people on these ships, and, like, both of my characters were, like, taking down individual people on some of these other ships, but because they were, like, no-name NPCs.
Yeah, like Tradoom, when you were taking your shots, it was just like...
I was just making sure that I hit.
You were just pot-shotting everybody.
Or I was taking shots at, like, captains and helmsmen and stuff, and pushing them off the ship.
Yeah, but the cool thing about it was like your shots, were awesome. That is actually the only cool spell type thing I did was when Marcus/Sam took over the helm and rammed it towards the other galleon or whatever, and I was like hold person on everybody else, and so
you paralyzed like 5 people on the deck of the ship.
There were all these people. Sam. Yeah, all these people going after Sam because he's at the helm, and I'm like, stand still. And they're all just like... They
all froze.
And so Sam's like, push it to the metal. Like, let's go.
And Sam goes, all right, the captain and the helmsman are dead. I'm at the wheel. Crash it into the man-o'-war.
Yeah, crash it into the other ship that's closest to me. Push it to the, push the pedal to the metal. Let's go. And so by the time like the people would unparalyze, it's crashing to the ship. Brad didn't say this, but I just imagined in my head was like me holding them. I got 4 or 5 kills because they all just went flying when the ship crashed. So it's like I didn't do damage.
But they died.
Kind of thing. And then, I stayed on my little, what's those things called?
You were on the Griffin.
Griffin.
Yep.
I was on the little Griffin by myself. That's the shitty part about getting hit by the lightning, too. Because this was the funny thing, I even said it last night. I was like, they say lightning doesn't strike twice, and then...
you get hit 3 times.
Well, Brad/Twitch is sitting beside me. He's like, you're right. It's 3 times. And I was like, fuck you, Brad.
That was Rob.
Rob. No, not Rob. Sorry, Rob. Rob/Twitch is sitting beside me. Which Twitch was not in the rotation for the role because they're always down in the engine room, because they're etherborn trying to eat the ether. And so, I looked over at Rob and I was like, they said lightning's not supposed to twice. And Rob looks at me. You're right. It's 3 times. I'm like, God damn it.
It doesn't strike twice in the same place. Yeah. It only strikes 3 times.
3 times in a row. I was like
1 or 3.
Yeah, only odd numbers. I'm just glad it wasn't fucking 5. Like I would have been dead. The game last night was so much fun.
It was a blast.
We hosted again out at Slypatch Gaming. It was awesome. If you got your D&D games out there and you guys need a place to host or for us, to be and play, we'll come host you out there. But yeah, it was just a blast. It was so much fun.
I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah, that's why it's my main for this week because as much fun as I had playing Magic tonight, or had fun, playing Magic with you this week, like getting back into the D&D, getting to play tabletop RPGs, rolling dice. I gave Spencer a set of dice last night because they were rolling like shit for me, and I was like. And Spencer was like, "Oh, those are pretty." I'm like, "Here, take them. get them away from me because they're rolling like
they're rolling really well for me.
They're rolling great for you, but they rolled like shit for me. So I was just like, "Here, just take these away from me. Like you can have this set of dice. Like
I got the pink ones.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're pink with black, black numbers and stuff. Like that's why I've added them to myself because I was like, these are really awesome looking." No, they were like
they were fucking.
They're like
cursed
we're
for
not
you.
meant for you. We're meant for Tradoom. So yeah. So anyway, that's this week's mains.
And that concludes our show. We're going into the cool down, and man, this was a fun episode.
This is a great episode, and like we talked about, like food. There's so many subjects that we talk about where we could go so much longer.
Oh yeah,
and so much more detail. But the great thing about it is we're going to hopefully have like follow-up episodes to those things in the future. Like,
Yeah.
we want you guys to be able to come back and be like, hey, I really liked this episode. I'd like to see more on it.
Well, and on that, next time we do a food episode, it'll probably be a mukbang.
It'll probably be a mukbang and have my wife, Chrissy,
Yep.
which you guys saw in one of our episodes. She's going to be a special guest for that one.
That one's going to be a fun time.
Again, she doesn't like doing dishes, but she loves eating some food. So
It's hard not to.
Yeah. She likes eating my food too. Like I'm pretty decent as a cook. But on the cool down today again, I just want to bring up again that we probably have a spinoff in a sense of the mental health stuff. Because of again how much feedback we've had and how many people have enjoyed it and said that like, hey, we need more people talking about this. And so that being said, we want if people want us to do that, I want to do that. Also because of how it affects both of us.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about like, thankfully for you, you've gotten the therapy you've needed, you've gotten the medication, you're doing really well, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you for that.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Hopefully I'll get there soon. That's a goal, definitely a goal we're working on. But because of the network of people I have around me, because I am so blessed, and I talked about this, I even mentioned it probably in another episode, where I don't judge my richness based on the material things I have or the money that I have in the bank. I base it off of the people around me, and fucking Bezos ain't got shit on me because of it. And because I have wonderful friends like Spencer, like my wife, my business partner Andy, my employee Josiah, Andy's girlfriend Victoria. Like I can name so many people. Like if I don't name you, it's not because you haven't been there for me, but I'm just saying. Because of that, I went from a point where I was basically suicidal a week ago, or a little over a week ago, to where I'm like, I've got some hope again, and I'm sitting here having fun making this episode, and whereas like I said a week ago, I felt like I might not be here for it. So I'm happy for that, and I'm thankful for that. So Thank you, buddy.
Of course. And to end the episode on a lighter note, I want to hear about places that you like around your area. A lot of you who watch this are in the same area as us. And if it's not a place that I've been to, I want to go to it.
Or,
we want recommendations.
Yeah, even if it is a place you've been to, like, let's hear why you recommend it, because maybe we haven't tried the food,
It's true.
certain food that they
True.
like.
Tell me your favorite dishes. Tell me your favorite places to go. I always want to eat more food because I'm fat. So
Absolutely. We love you all.
As always, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. We love you guys, and we're going to see you guys next week. You have an awesome week. Bye-bye.